Hey folks, Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. It's time to look back and enjoy a week of Southeastern Conference football as we talk about what we saw on the field. And as always, we're excited to be partnered with our friends at Cowin Equipment. And they'd like to partner up with your company for all your heavy equipment needs. Visit everyone over at Cowin on their website at cowin.com to find out more about how you can save with your heavy equipment solution, from rental and new equipment sales to superior service and parts. It's all right there with our friends at Cowin Equipment. Visit cowin.com. That's cowin.com. Now let's check out the action. We'll have Bo Nix on the show, and we'll find out what Bo has heard about who's starting this week as Auburn goes down to play LSU. I mean, it's got to be our first question,
right? It's 100% your first question. Are you the starter?
Are you the starter?
I mean, look, I think we disagree. You know, we were talking to Forrester, who is an Auburn guy, before the show. He believes Bo Nix will start. I don't know how you start Bo Nix, based on, not that Finley played great by any means, but still led the game-winning drive. And it just seemed to be one of those moments where it was the changing of the guards.
Are you playing a PR game? You don't know how you start him? Because you don't think Finley's that much better, do you?
Well, not based on what I saw, but Finley did lead them to points, and I know Bo's not good.
Against Georgia State he did, but this is LSU.
Okay, but Bo couldn't do it against Georgia State. But so I'm saying you had to pull him for performance. TJ did what you needed TJ to do, so why would you not play TJ?
Yeah, there's got to be some value in that 98-yard drive to win the game, right? I mean, to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I make a full job change based on that one drive.
But are you telling me the answer is the guy that if he had stayed in Baton Rouge would have been the third string at best guy, because he wasn't beating out Max Johnson or Miles Brennan?
I'm not saying
so
that.
You're telling
I'm just
me
telling you this,
that the third string quarterback at LSU is better than the guy you had?
If that third string doesn't come in on Saturday, Georgia State beats Auburn.
I mean, for a lot of fans, this will be the first time you've heard from TJ Finley, the guy who was QB2, and he came in and saved the day. And he tells a story about the message he gave the team. I mean, remember where you are, blocked punt, cuts it to within a 24-19, but then they do get a punt off, Georgia State does, and it Coffin corners it, man, out at the 2-yard line. So that's now 2-yard line, 98 yards away from Auburn avoiding the upset, and TJ Finley's the quarterback. What message did you give the team, TJ?
TJ, what was your message to the rest of the team there as you guys start that drive at your own 2-yard line?
Let's do it. Let's have a 98-yard touchdown drive. It was simple as that. I told everybody to do their job. They told me, TJ, they got me. I told them, I got y'all. It was as simple as that, and we got together and we got the job done.
Let's take a breath to just soak in what Arkansas was and what they are now. They're number 8 in the country, and they're going to play Georgia on College game day. Arkansas was 0-16 in the SEC in 2018 and 2019, 4-20 overall, but they were 0-16 in the conference.
Yeah, they lost 19 straight conference games.
And now they're on College game day. You cannot say enough for Sam Pittman.
You really can, and his quarterback's getting better. KJ Jefferson is still really raw. When you watch him, he's got all the ability in the world, but he still misses a throw here and there. He'll make a mistake here and there.
You know what he does that's important for the way he plays is he throws and connects that deep ball occasionally, or at least he throws it, not afraid to, if he throws an incomplete pass. And that keeps the backside of that defensive backfield, the safeties or such, from coming up and helping on that run. They're able to run the football with 3-4 running backs, and he's able to run the football, and you really can't come up and help because they'll throw it over the top like they did twice on Texas A&M.
Well, look, I am prepared now to say Sam Pittman right now is the third best coach in the SEC. I really am. They have dominated the state of Texas. The Texas 40-21 win wasn't even close. They led that game wire to wire. They led A&M 17-0 on Saturday. That game was never close. Now, I do think more than likely you've got back-to-back losses coming this weekend, obviously in Athens.
Tough spot.
Then you've got to go to Oxford.
And KJ Jefferson's at least hobbled.
But then you got some wins coming up because based on – and look, Auburn's still Auburn, so they could win this game. But based on what I have seen up until this point, Auburn going to Fayetteville does not look good for the Tigers.
Arkansas is the better team. I don't think there's any doubt right now Arkansas is better than Auburn.
I can't believe how bad Kentucky's looked the last couple of weeks.
I told you, man, they're regressing back to the old offense.
Well, you guys tell me what that number. So Florida's playing in Lexington. Florida's an 8-point favorite. Florida should be really like a 5 or 6 point favorite. Is that just based on the history? Because I think they've won 25 or 26.
I think it's based on the fact that Emory Jones looks really good right now.
He really does.
Good. I mean, since whatever flipped on him in the Bama game. Since basically the start of the second quarter in the Bama game on, Emory Jones played really, really good football for Florida. And the opposite is happening for Will Levis. He's going the other direction. Yeah. So you say it should be 5. I feel like Florida could run away with this game in Lexington.
Well, they might. I mean, again, it's 8 right now.
In the Georgia game with Vandy, and we always get why can't we kick Vandy out and bring in somebody else with Oklahoma and Texas? That's never going to happen. Georgia gets Arkansas this week, but 35-0 in the first quarter, 200 yards on the first 20 plays. That's averaging how many yards a play, Brown?
That's 10 a play.
That's 10 a play. That's pretty good. Touchdowns on their first 5 possessions. Georgia gets 62 points. Vandy gets 77 yards.
Yeah, it was. I haven't watched many SEC games. I was trying to remember some I've watched where I feel like if this team wanted to, they could score 100. Georgia could have scored 100 on Vandy. If Kirby Smart didn't have some modicum of mercy on a first-year coach, he could have scored 100.
Georgia, 8 touchdowns. Vandy's 4 first downs.
It's incredible.
The numbers from that game in a conference game is pretty amazing.
What team hasn't had a flaw?
Well, Alabama's more tested than Georgia.
Because of the trip to Florida.
Well, the trip to Florida.
Don't even throw Miami in there.
Miami is better than anybody they've played that Georgia's played other than Clemson. So
I'll give you that, yeah.
And how far are Miami and Clemson apart right now?
Pat Forty writes today in his 40-yard dash, spelled like his last name with Sports Illustrated, that if the selection show was yesterday, if it had been Selection Sunday yesterday, it would look like an SEC Invitational.
I think it would.
That it would have been Alabama, Georgia, and then you would have made a case for Arkansas or Florida to be one of the 4 best teams in the country.
And he doesn't even mention Ole Miss, who's undefeated going to number 1. And if Ole Miss comes into Tuscaloosa and plays Alabama tight, I'm not even talking about a win, but comes in and makes a really good account of themselves against Alabama, I'm interested to see how the nation processes that with Ole Miss.
You guys tell me if I'm crazy. Let's just say Georgia goes out, does what they need to do against Arkansas. They win that game by 2-3 touchdowns, which they probably will. Ole Miss goes on the road and beats Alabama. Where is Ole Miss ranked? Because if I'm a voter, Ole Miss is number 2 behind Georgia. I immediately put Ole Miss.
So Georgia handles Arkansas, and Ole Miss beats Alabama.
Now, Ole Miss right now is sitting at number 12. They're behind undefeated Notre Dame. Arkansas will have a loss. Cincinnati, one of those 2 will have a loss, but you'll still have undefeated Iowa, Penn State, Oregon, but I would put them over all of those teams if they win.